Nobody saw it coming, not like this. One joke, one line, and suddenly the entire illusion started cracking in real time. What looked like a harmless late-night moment turned into something far more explosive. A trigger, a signal, a crack in a carefully built narrative that people had believed for years. And once that crack appeared, everything else started rushing in.
The one person who I think has been really happy about all of this is Prince Andrew. I'm guessing that he has been nudging the royal family. Can you believe what Meghan did, huh? Can you believe it?
And this is sweet. Meghan Markle said she has a finger they can use if they need it.
Why is the press and the palace refusing to look or comment or report on Meghan Markle's links to the same individual? And most importantly, her relationship, her close personal relationship with Prince Andrew.
It started subtle, calm, almost too normal. The room was relaxed, the audience comfortable, nothing unusual in the air. And then it flipped, fast. Colin didn't ease into it. He went straight for it, dropping that line about a UK trade deal, and then that unexpected twist sent Meghan Markle back. You could feel the air shift. That tiny pause, that split second of silence, that wasn't nothing. That was confusion colliding with shock. And then boom, the reaction hit all at once. Mixed laughter, awkward tension, people not quite sure whether to laugh or freeze, but before anyone could process it, he doubled down. But only if she deletes her entire Instagram. That second punch, that wasn't just a joke anymore, that was a push. And the crowd lost control. Louder, messier, chaotic. And in that moment, something changed. Because it didn't stay in that studio. Not even for a minute. The internet grabbed it instantly. Clips spreading. Reactions exploding. Everyone jumping in like they'd been waiting for a moment like this. But here's where it gets interesting. While people online were laughing, reacting, debating like it was entertainment, somewhere else, the mood wasn't funny at all.
Wasn't there some speculation that she was on Epstein's yacht at one point in time? There was like photos with her and Prince Andrew way back in the day when she was like in her early 20s. Wow.
Why aren't they pushing this nuclear button and just let the world know about Meghan Markle?
Do you think your sister, Meghan Markle, has ruined Prince Harry?
The answer is yes. I mean, every single interview, every single picture, every place they go, Meghan grabs him. Meghan controls him. Meghan tells him no. Meghan stands in front of him. She controls every single situation like she is the star.
Over in Montecito, the tone, completely different. Reports described tension, real tension, not irritation, frustration. The kind that builds fast and doesn't settle. Because this wasn't just some random joke floating around, it hit directly at something deeper, her public image. And that's where it gets dangerous. Because jokes, they reveal things. They test limits. And this one, it didn't feel light. It felt like a signal. Like something people had been hinting at quietly was suddenly being dragged into the spotlight without warning. And before that moment could even breathe, before it could settle, something else appeared. Something strange. Something perfectly timed. Photos. Not just any photos. Carefully framed. Too clean. Too sharp. Almost like they were waiting to be seen.
You know, I mean, she used to be on Deal or No Deal. Look, she was on Deal or No Deal.
Yeah, that's right.
Listen, I brought Meghan Markle, whatever her name is, to my Deal or No Deal celebrity golf tournament. She was one of my Deal or No Deal girls that were, she was a caddy for all of my celebrities.
Suggested that the then Meghan Markle likely spent time with Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein.
A luxury yacht, bright European coastline, everything polished to perfection. The kind of setting that screams money, power, exclusivity, men in designer sunglasses, drinks flowing, staff moving quietly in the background, and right there, center frame, a woman, styled, poised, comfortable, like she belonged there. And that's when everything spiraled, because people didn't just look, they started comparing, zooming in, pausing frames, analyzing angles, studying details like detectives building a case. And suddenly, the comments exploded. That's Meghan. No way, look closer. Check the posture. It turned into a battlefield of opinions. No confirmation, no proof. But that didn't matter, because once the internet decides something looks familiar, it doesn't let go. And the scariest part, these weren't blurry throwbacks people could ignore. These looked recent, crisp, deliberate, like they were meant to be seen now.
He knows that Meghan Markle was a hoe. He knows that Meghan Markle had a relationship with Prince Andrew. He knows that he is stuck in California. He knows he has wrecked his life with a D-list mattress actor.
Your past set to be exposed in a new documentary that's finally going to air next month. Let's put it this way, I smell a scandal.
And that timing, that's what made people stop and think, because this didn't happen randomly. It happened right when she was stepping into a major image reset, a new brand, a fresh narrative, carefully planned moves to reshape how the world sees her. And suddenly, these photos appear loud, fast, impossible to ignore. That's not coincidence, or at least that's what people started saying. The rollout she had been building, it didn't collapse overnight, but it started to shake, not because of facts, but because of perception. And perception, that's everything. For years, her image had been controlled, polished, almost untouchable. Clean aesthetics, wellness, calm energy, a lifestyle people followed, admired, even trusted. But now there was a contrast, a sharp one, and people noticed instantly. The discussions didn't slow down, they multiplied. Some said the photos were from an earlier phase, others shut that down completely. Claims, counterclaims, side-by-side comparisons stacking up like evidence in a case that nobody could officially confirm, but everyone had an opinion on. And suddenly, it wasn't about whether the images were real anymore. That wasn't the point. The real question became something bigger. What does this do to the image she spent years building? Because that's where things started falling apart. The disconnect, the mismatch, the polished lifestyle versus the high-glam, ultra-luxury setting. People couldn't ignore it, and once they saw it, they couldn't unsee it. The narrative started slipping. Not crashing, not yet, but shifting, quietly, rapidly. And once a story starts to feel off, it spreads faster than anything else. And now the conversation changed again. It wasn't about yachts, it wasn't about wealth. It was about interpretation, about what people think they're seeing. Because her image wasn't built overnight. It was crafted, step by step. Every interview, every appearance, every word chosen carefully. And now those images, they didn't align with that story. And that's what kept people talking, digging deeper, pulling up old rumors that had never fully disappeared, just buried. And now they were back, louder, stronger, harder to dismiss. When she entered royal life, those whispers faded into the background, almost erased. But this moment, it dragged them right back into the spotlight. And this time, people weren't ignoring them. The reaction was immediate. And it wasn't slowing down. The reaction didn't just grow, it evolved. What started as scattered opinions turned into something organized, almost surgical. People weren't just reacting anymore, they were digging, connecting dots, pulling threads that had been sitting quietly for years. And once that shift happened, there was no going back. Old clips resurfaced like they had been waiting for this exact moment. Interviews that once felt harmless suddenly carried a different tone. Archived content, forgotten posts, buried discussions started gaining traction again, stacking views at a speed that didn't feel natural. It was like the algorithm itself had flipped a switch, pushing everything connected to her name right back into the spotlight. And then came the whispers, not loud at first, subtle. Anonymous voices hinting at connections, at exclusive circles, at events most people would never even hear about. Nothing confirmed, nothing solid, but it didn't matter because speculation doesn't need proof to spread, it just needs curiosity. And curiosity was everywhere. People started revisiting her past with a completely different lens. Every move, every opportunity, every connection began to look strategic. Some described her as highly driven, always positioning herself for the next step. Others pushed back hard, calling it unfair, saying it was just another wave of online exaggeration. But the conversation didn't settle. It split. And when a story splits like that, it becomes even harder to control. Then another detail quietly slipped back into focus. Her old lifestyle blog, The Tig. Archived posts started circulating again, and suddenly those mentions of luxury travel and exclusive invitations didn't feel like casual storytelling anymore. They felt like clues, the kind that make people pause and ask, how did all of this line up? And that's when the shift became undeniable. At those polished moments, the yoga clips, the glowing travel photos, the carefully crafted captions, they didn't land the same anymore. For some people, what once felt inspiring now looked calculated. Not fake, but curated. Every image, every word, every appearance started being examined under a level of scrutiny that doesn't leave room for simple explanations. It wasn't about liking or disliking her anymore. It became something else entirely. Analysis, dissection, a need to understand what was real and what might have been presented. Then came the part that nobody expected. No response, no denial, no statement, nothing. It pulled him in too. Prince Harry's name didn't stay separate from the storm, it merged into it. Their public image had always been connected, and now that connection worked both ways. Everywhere you looked, headlines, thumbnails, posts, they were tied together in the same narrative. And the tone, it wasn't gentle. Critics didn't hold back. They painted a harsh picture. A man who had stepped away from everything. Royal life, family ties, the structure he had known, known, now being pulled into something unpredictable. That line started circulating fast. He looks like a man realizing the fairy tale came with fine print. It's stuck, and once something like that sticks, it becomes part of the story, whether it's true or not. Then came more speculation. Reports suggesting distance, that he had been keeping a lower profile, stepping back during the peak of the noise. Some hinted at a shift behind the scenes, less alignment, more space, quieter interactions, nothing confirmed. But again, confirmation wasn't what was driving this. It was perception. And perception was shifting fast. At the same time, she was still being described as active, strategic, focused on regaining control. And that contrast, one stepping back, the other pushing forward, raised even more questions. It created a tension people couldn't ignore. Because when two public figures who are always seen as aligned start appearing out of sync, it becomes a story of its own. But underneath all of this noise, something deeper was happening. This stopped being about photos, about rumors, about one viral joke. It turned into something bigger. A conversation about image, about how narratives are built, maintained, and what happens when they start to crack. Her journey had always been visible. From acting to royal life to independent projects, every phase carefully observed, every move analyzed. And that's exactly why this moment hit so differently. Because for the first time in a long time, that polished narrative wasn't being accepted at face value. It was being questioned, not quietly, publicly, loudly. That joke from Colin, people didn't see it as the beginning anymore. They saw it as the trigger, the moment that set everything else in motion. Because once those photos started circulating, once those older discussions came back, it felt like something opened, like people were finally looking at everything, past and present at the same time. And when that happens, things get messy. Every clip, every quote, every archived post started moving again. Frame by frame analysis, side by side comparisons. People trying to piece together a bigger picture from fragments that had never fully connected before. Some critics called it selective storytelling, choosing what to show, what to hide, shaping a narrative that fit perfectly until something didn't. And once that idea took hold, it spread. Because when an image is built on consistency, even a small contradiction can feel massive. And that's where it stands now. Not resolved, not settled, still moving, still evolving. Because in today's media space, stories like this don't just disappear. They linger, they shift, they grow with every new perspective added to them. And the silence, it's still there, still part of the story, still being interpreted in 100 different ways. So now the question isn't just what happened, it's what happens next. Because once perception changes, it doesn't easily go back. And whether this is just another wave of online hype or something deeper unfolding beneath the surface, one thing is clear: this story isn't over.